We're the Young Indie Chroniclers podcast, and we're producing a new feature-length documentary, George Lucas, The Lost Golden Age.
George Lucas was going to do this Lawrence of Arabia scale epic on a 16-millimeter budget.
You got a chance to have the same adventure making the show as what Indy was doing.
His stuff is really quite political.
You didn't think I was going to run, did you?
I learned that when George says he wants to ultimately change or fix something, that he was going to do it.
We built a Kickstarter campaign to support the film. Late pledges are available now at Kickstarter.com.
Hello there. Welcome to Force Ghost Conversations. This podcast is your home for cozy deep dives into all things Star Wars and Lucasfilm adjacent properties. This is your host, Anthony King, and each week I will be joined by fans, creators, and believers in the principles from the galaxy far, far away to discuss the thematical elements from our favorite Lucasfilm properties. And without further ado, it is time to gather around the campfire for some Force Ghost Conversations. Welcome back to Force Ghost Conversations, everybody. This is an exciting episode that we have for you all here today because I'm just really thrilled to have Chase from this company called Retrobox, which is, we'll talk about it in the main portion of the episode here, but I'm thrilled that this is a product that's coming down the pipeline, and I hope that you're excited for it too. But basically, they are reinventing and reimagining for the modern age the idea of the kind of CRT VHS combo TV that many of us have as part of our memories of childhood and that nostalgic flair with it that comes with it. But obviously they're updating it with modern techniques and tendencies and whatnot, so it isn't exactly CRT, but is emulating a lot of those factors here. And of course we get into all the nitty gritty of that within the episode here, so it's a thrill to have Chase on, where we talk about the product, learn about their journey and etymology with it all, and how you can get more information about when this product will become available and how you can get involved in all that stuff there. And of course, we'll have links for all of that stuff in the episode description here, so make sure you go check that out accordingly. I did also want to note we're releasing this episode one day earlier to be on February 7th instead of February 8th, which is not Sunday. It was a Saturday, which is our usual release time. But we're doing that because, as some of you may know already from other podcasts out there, this is Star Wars Podcast Day, which is our submission for being a part of that. And we love doing it each and every year. And the reason why it's on February 7th is because it is the anniversary of Jedi Talk, the first ever Star Wars podcast, which did premiere on this day, February 7th of 1999. So we are here continuing the tradition of Star Wars podcasting. And it's a thrill to do this each and every week with you all, and happy Star Wars Podcast Day. We do have some news in the Cloud City Gossip segment here, so we're going to address those here before we get into our main topic discussion. You may have seen in the Grammys, or you didn't see it actually because it wasn't televised, but there were Grammys last week. And with that, there actually was an award for Lucasfilm, and particularly a documentary that we covered here recently. So Best Music Film for Music by John Williams. Well, let me just rehash that all again here. I don't even know how to read my own notes, folks. The Grammy for Best Music Film was won by Music by John Williams last weekend, which is, first off, it deserves it. It's an incredible documentary. Go check out our episode if you haven't yet about it. It's fantastic. We really love it. I've watched it so many times. It's wonderful. So congrats to everybody a part of that. But this win also does cement Steven Spielberg as being an EGOT winner now. So it means he's won an Emmy, an Emmy, Grammy. Sorry, I was almost saying Golden Globe there because I'm like, no, he's definitely won Grammy now, an Oscar, and a Tony. So he's got the whole gambit of the major awards across the different industries here, and it's a thrill that I couldn't think of arguably a more deserving person across the industry for what he's done for the work over the last 50 plus years of his career. So congrats to Steven Spielberg on that one. Additionally, 2 new Star Wars books have come out this past week, which include Star Wars Outlaws, Low Red Moon by Mike Chen, and The Art of Star Wars, The Acolyte by Kristen Baver. So go check those out. I particularly am excited for the Acolyte book because there's so many interesting tidbits about what that show would have been if they had continued it forward, and maybe we will see them continue that capacity in some way, shape, or form moving forward. And lastly, it's not Star Wars news, but it is Disney news, which is the parent company of the Walt Disney Company, or yeah, it's the parent company of Lucasfilm, right? So you may have heard that Bob Iger is stepping down as the CEO of the Walt Disney Company. And finally, we have gotten the official announcement that Josh D'Amaro, who is formerly of the Parks division, is now going to be named as his successor. I believe it's taking over officially at the end of March here. So we welcome Josh to his new role and celebrate him, and look forward to seeing all he's going to be able to do and with that new role. And yeah, now he's got a whole plethora of the tricks and tools at his disposal here to move forward with all the things that he wants and to make the company the best that it can be over the next couple of years here. So this is an exciting change, and I think he's going to bring some young, youthful energy to it. And definitely at this inflection point is what is certainly needed for the company as they embark on new changes and new difficulties on the horizon. Right, looking at UAI and how we can continue to have great content and stories for the future generations to be told. So that, folks, is all the news that has taken place in the Cloud City Gossip this week. I do want to flag again that if you want to support the show in other ways, we have a plethora of social media platforms. So X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky. You can follow us on those platforms. Just search for Force Ghost Conversations, and we'd love to continue the conversation with you. Additionally, we have a Patreon site where for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to Force Ghost Conversations related goodies. And additionally, we have a TeePublic store where you can get Force Ghost Conversations related merchandise, such as like t-shirts, hoodies, pillows, blankets, what have you. And it's a great store, and it helps to keep the lights on here at Force Ghost Conversations. And we appreciate any and all support that you're able to give at this time. Links for all those are in the episode description. And that's all my plugs for this week. So with that, let's get into our conversation with Chase from Retrobox. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another installment of Force Ghost Conversations, your cozy home for deep dive discussions into all things Star Wars and Lucasfilm adjacent properties. And in this episode today, we're kind of diving into that adjacent thing here. But I do believe that like the content of this episode will surely tie into Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, even Willow, all the things that inspired us to make this podcast at the beginning here. And we are here with Chase from Retrobox, an exciting project, product 2 that I'm so thrilled. I'm their biggest fan. If you can't tell already, folks, I cannot wait to chat about this thing. I can't wait to even to get one, to have one in my house, and to just kind of resurface some of these old VHSs I've had in my possession for quite some time here. So, Chase, welcome to Force Ghost Conversations, and how are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about all things retro and especially our product.
Well, it's a thrill to have you here. And just for like the folks at home, like how would you just a quick 10-second, 15-second blurb. What is Retrobox? How would you describe it? And just so that we're on the same page here before we get into things.
Yes, of course. So basically, Retrobox is just as people in the recent last 10, 15 years, just as the record player has kind of come back with modern touches, the Polaroid. We're basically doing the exact same thing, but with the VCR and specifically the VCR combo TV. Sadly, at this time, we are not bringing back the CRT. We need to make sure that is very clear to people. We are not bringing back a CRT. Very transparent about that. We are reverse engineering the VCR. Yes, we are making VCRs from scratch in 2026, specifically to be sold in those VHS combo TVs that everyone loves, kind of bringing back the nostalgic feel. But also we're also producing VCRs as well. And so really riding that wave of physical media coming back, kind of like what we did with record players. I'm someone who did grow up with the VCR. Even though I'm only 25, I had two 90s brothers. Mm-hmm. I was the youngest of a lot. So I grew up very much a 90s kid. Played the 64, Super Nintendo all growing up on an old CRT. That's what I grew up with. So I didn't grow up with a lot of the same way people my age did, actually. But anyways, that's Retrobox.
I love it, and we're already off to the running here, folks. Because as soon as you say physical media, I am there. And especially when you're like VHS and the VCR component of it too. I still remember very fondly the one that I had in my bedroom, the combo player. Then upgraded that to something that could play on my Xbox 360 and whatnot, and DVDs and Blu-rays and all that stuff. But I still have these wonderful VHSs, and I remember the nostalgia and I particularly in regards to like Star Wars too, where it's like there have been different versions of that throughout the years too. So I know people at home, like, they will really appreciate the opportunity to have this type of connection again to a part of their past or their childhood or whatnot. And I think too, for many people that never got to experience it, this will be a wonderful opportunity for them too, to have those nostalgic experiences, but with the modern technology sensibilities that you mentioned there too. But before we get into all the nitty gritty of what Retrobox is, I want to. You already teased that you grew up with this stuff here, the VCR, VHS combo TVs and whatnot. Do you remember like the first VHS tape that you? Maybe I'm pulling strings here to go back all the way to the beginning, but like, is there a single VHS perhaps that like
Yeah.
stands out in your memory? You're like, okay, if I say the word VHS, this is the one that pops into my mind.
Right. I think VHS specifically, the thing that comes to my mind, which is funny, I do love this movie. I wouldn't say it's a top 10 movie for me, but VHS, man, I used to go to my grandparents a lot, on the weekends, especially in the wintertime. Anyways, long story, but, I would always watch E.T. I remember watching E.T. Every
Yeah.
time I went, I would just beg to get a bowl of ice cream and watch E.T. And that's what I did every single time. And it was on one of those mega CRTs. It's like,
Oh, love it.
you know,
Yes.
5 feet by 5 feet, very like just
Oh,
huge
bigger than a
4:3
human. Yeah.
ratio TV. And it was always ET. And I actually just got my first ET VHS tapes recently, thrifting for that. I finally got my own
Beautiful.
ET
As you
tape.
should.
But yeah, ET was the one I remember watching the most. And I remember I would always be so mad if if I had like if my grandparents or another cousin or something watch ET and not rewind the tape, of course. So I
Yeah,
remember
be
getting
be
very
kind
mad.
and
I was like
rewind.
4.
Yeah, yeah. You were. I'm not allowed to touch this yet. Someone else has to come in and do the rewinding
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. ET is definitely a quintessential part of like any VHS collection that one should
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
It's just a quintessential film, right? And it should be a top 10 film. How dare you say maybe not in the top 10?
Well, I'd
Come
say my
on now.
top 10. I'd say my like
In
top
your
10
top 10,
movies.
okay.
Yeah, but for some reason that was the VHS movie that I watched. I had plenty of others that I remember watching, but that was the
Mhm.
one I remember, like, that VHS tape specifically. I have a connection to like that tape. I remember I should probably get it from my grandparents. They'd probably just give it to me, that exact tape at
Oh
this
yeah,
point.
trust
So,
me. Well, it's probably hidden in some attic somewhere.
oh yeah,
So
oh yeah,
with your current company now, it's a great way to go and say, hey, content, I got this back, baby.
absolutely.
Which is funny that you mentioned that, because this past Thanksgiving, I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I live in Florida now currently. I went back to Pennsylvania for Thanksgiving to see my folks, and lo and behold, found my former box of VHSs and stole our Batman '89 from that aforementioned box. So if my mom is curious where it's at, it's upstairs, but it's no longer there anymore. It is now many states away. So that's the one that I would think of personally as the quintessential VHS, and I know for a lot of people it is too, because I remember, I don't remember, I wasn't alive for this yet, but I do know from his history that this was one of the first like commercially affordable VHSs. I think like because during the '80s, and that's why Blockbuster was or movie rental places was a big deal for a lot of people in that time. But VHSs could be upwards of like $50+ for
Mhm.
any single one, and then Batman '89 comes out. It's very successful at the box office, and then I think it was like maybe $15 to $20. So much more marketable at the end of all things, that people could say, okay, I'll start my home media collection now. I don't need to rent it from whatever, West Coast Video or Blockbuster, whatever it was at the time, and off to the running there. And then obviously the '90s are just full of VHSs and whatnot, and they
Mhm.
won the battle against Betamax because of that, I bet.
Oh
So
yeah.
is a really cool thing. So you're teetering into this question a little bit here too, but talking about your grandparents and the experience with ET and whatnot. But I'm just curious, because so much of the VHS and the format and the CRT TVs are baked in this nostalgia. And I'm curious, like, what makes, in your opinion at least, what makes this format so nostalgic for people?
Well, I think a big part of it is the idea of collecting physical media,
Yeah.
and I think that weighs more than we think it does. Now,
Hmm.
plenty of us who are in the retro landscape, obviously, and we've known this for years how cool retro media is. But I think a lot of people of my generation who are Gen Z grew up, at that point. I remember, maybe Netflix CDs, kids who are my
Oh,
age who didn't have 90s brothers like me.
yeah.
So I had an older family. I'm the youngest of 7 years.
Okay.
So my next brother was born 94 and then 89.
Hmm.
So I was very much, I feel like I grew up in the 90s with what was in my house. I mean, that's what I grew up with.
Right.
But
Right.
other kids who are my age, maybe Netflix. And then, of course, it was more just TV and streaming by that point. Plenty of DVDs, plenty of Blu rays. But um, I think the idea of the record player was what really set this off for
Hmm.
people of my generation was like, oh, I want to buy a record player not just to play the records. I can listen to the song anytime I want. Why would I want to buy a record player?
Yes.
Of course, why would I need to buy even a new album? Like, why would I need to buy the new album on record player? Well, because it's cool. It's cool to
Hmm.
have a
Hmm.
physical token of something that you love to watch. So
Yeah.
it's cool for me to. I've actually started collecting some newer movies on VHS just because I can.
That's
Like
right.
Gladiator. Gladiator, it
Mm.
is an original. It was made for VHS, but I mean that movie is teetering. I mean, I'm sure they made
It's getting
more
to
from
the end of
DVDs
the
on that.
run. Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's really cool to have like, no, I like Gladiator, and I can show everyone that I like it because my collection is right front and center.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a memento to show like what you like. Just how people like Letterboxd right now. It's the
Hmm.
exact same print. It's
Hmm.
the exact same concept. It's another way to show basically, I don't even know, encapsulate what you like to watch. And then of
Yeah.
course, I
Yeah.
mean, I actually don't like those Disney boxes that are the plastic. I love the sleeves.
Yeah.
I will
Slip
not
covers are
collect.
much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will not collect those old Disney ones that are in the big plastic. I don't know what you call those, but the
I
basically.
don't even know. Clamshells, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like those. I will not collect them. I will only get sleeves, and I have something about it. I don't know why, but that's what I like to collect. There's so much. They just fit so much better, and they just look. The ratio of them is
Yeah.
just cool. Anyways, you can go into that, but it's just the record player is a perfect example of like I have no reason to listen. I can listen to
Hmm.
this music anytime I want. I have Spotify. It's like, well, clearly that's not the purpose of it. I don't buy the Beach Boys album just to listen to the Beach Boys. I listen to it so I can have the Beach Boys album in my display. So
Well, yes, ending what you're saying there is like you get a different feel, like you feel it in your hands, right?
right,
It's a tangible experience
yeah,
in a different way than just looking at it on your phone, right?
right. And of course
Y-
with CRTs, I mean, I hate that anyone can like all the CRT lovers you can get on us for this. I would love to be making a CRT. Oh my gosh, I would love to be making an actual CRT. We're going to try and emulate it the best we can. There are pros to not having a CRT. It's way lighter and a lot easier to ship and a
Yeah.
lot easier to make and deal with. But I mean, that aside, CRTs provide an experience with gaming and with viewing that are much different. That actually are like, I mean, I play Nintendo 64 all the time, and I
As do
actually
I.
prefer to play it on the CRT. I think it's just better. It's a better experience. So trust me, I am very aware of what we're missing by not having a CRT. But um, with the VCR, we've made a breakthrough that we thought we couldn't make. With the CRT, we have not made that. It's kind of we're going to cross that bridge when we get to it.
Hmm.
We're going to take on the task of reverse engineering the VCR and then see where we're at after. See if we've exhausted all of our funds at that point and our manpower. But you know what? We'll see. But yeah, I will say the CRT. We're going to do our best to emulate it. We're even going to have a glass screen that's kind of rounded just to
Love it.
help. Kind of, and emulators are decent. I know it's not going to be the same, but we want to have every port on there as well. Sorry, I'm talking about the product now, but I feel like this is relevant to
Yeah, absolutely.
the enjoyment experience. So we're going to try and do our best of creating that retro experience for sure. We know there's going to be gaps, but at least you can play your VHS tapes and have kind of we call it a vessel for collecting the media. You
Mhm.
can't collect VHS
Mhm.
tapes if you don't have a VHS player or VCR.
That's
but
right.
You can. So
Well, you mean you can? You're just looking at them, right? They're
you're just
just
looking
like
at it. Yeah,
a
it feels
collector's
cool to be
item.
able to
They
feel
collect
fun.
dust on a shelf, but you want to actually play it, right?
Yeah.
That's the fun of it. You didn't just
Yeah.
get a record to just have on the shelf. I mean, maybe some did. Some people
Sure.
do.
I'm sure some people have.
I'm sure some hipsters out there just got some records and just don't even have a player.
Yeah.
But like, you're talking to a guy that has definitely the vinyl set up over here. I even got a
Sure.
cassette tape player, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
where is this VHS thing I
Yeah.
still got these things. I want to play them. They're very much a part of the baked into all of this here because, even going back, first VHSs are like the early 80s and whatnot.
Hmm.
It's baked into people's memories of where they're going to Blockbuster and picking it out on a Friday night,
Yeah.
and then having that tangible experience. It's a ritual. It's a process,
Hmm.
right? This is what I like about vinyl too, is that like people are complaining, well, you have to get up and flip the disc every couple of songs. I'm like, but I get to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I can't skip the songs. I have to listen to the whole album and the process of the whole thing, right? It's not like I'm
Yeah.
picking out a few songs here and there. I'm listening to the full thing as it was intended to by the artist. And that's kind of going back to this here is like, okay, this is and many, I know CED was a thing and Laserdisc and Betamax, all those different competitors and whatnot. But this is like the first time really that home media gets to be a thing, that people aren't having to go to the movie theaters
Right.
and like watch a movie once and then maybe they'd watch it on TV 10 years later or something like that. Like, this is a way
Right.
for fandoms to be created, is
Right.
because people own this. They can say, hey, I'm a fan of this. It's on my shelf now. When people come over to visit, they see what my collection is. And that's me
Right.
telling, without saying the words, publicly displaying to people that I'm a fan of this. This is cool. And this is, take it or leave it. This is what I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
Right. So that's all there. And I'll say, just for like the Star Wars fans, like that are listening to the show, I'm sure are so excited for this product too. Like, that's, people have like so much memory of generationally of like their experience with it. And for a lot of Star Wars fans, the VHS was the thing,
Yeah.
right? Whether it be the special edition VHSs, the 95s, the 92s, the early 80s versions, right? And George was tinkering with all like the Star Wars films throughout each of those releases, right?
Mhm.
So like, it's a badge of honor to be like, all right, this is the one that I have. This is my Star Wars. This is the slipcover. And then they're iconic covers too. People love them.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking of like,
100%.
like the 95 releases, like the different faces, like Yoda's faces on Empire or Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And there's the other aspect of this too, where it's just like so many people's home videos are still on VHSs, right? I'm looking at my, like, when I'm 2 years old, like I've never seen these, or probably haven't seen these for like 25 years now. Like the chance to relive some of those memories again that I probably don't have, or just to have them forever, to be able to experience that would be so cool. And for a lot of people too, like they, when we used to be able to record actually like what was on TV through the VHS, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Recording,
That
yeah.
that for a lot of people that I've come across in the Star Wars fandom is that how they know Star Wars, is because they saw it on TV once, they popped the VHS and recorded it, and then that's their Star Wars right there, is that. So they know where all the commercial breaks
They
are. They
all
know
the ads.
they
Yeah.
know the commercials by heart, and they have this like intuned in them to be like, okay, this is where this ad break is. This is where they're like trained to go to the bathroom at this various points, or to fast forward and whatnot. It's kind of similar to
Yeah.
like whenever I watch Lord of the Rings, because I only watch the extended versions. I know in the DVDs where you flip to the next disc, I'm like, oh, the story continues on the next disc here, as much to my wife's chagrin here. But there's so much nostalgia based in this thing, and it's good nostalgia too, right? I think there's a negative nostalgia that exists out there in the world, but as far as I can tell, collecting physical media is one of the best positive ways to exhibit that. And in this world of streaming where nothing is a guarantee, right?
Mhm.
Even if you are subscribed to Disney Plus, there's no telling that this film or TV show that you like is going to be on there forever, or
Yeah.
even available to rent. So the only way to have it forever and to ensure that you have it forever is to buy it in a physical capacity and keep it. And there's so many things that were only made on a VHS that have never been transferred to a DVD, a Blu-ray, a 4K, and may never ever get transferred to that. So the only way you could ever watch it is still on a VHS in many cases, which thankfully, because of this is historic preservation in a way too, in a modern sense, which is awesome. So, like you were saying, you're embracing the nostalgia, you're moving forward with VHS and the CRT for TVs, and you're channeling that into this product, Retrobox. Now, where did this inspiration for the product come from, and why now? Why was January, was recording this January 2026? I know 2025, the idea was percolating too. Why now? Why is the time to strike?
It was actually January 2025 is
Oh,
when
love it.
we came up with the idea. So almost exactly a year ago this week, ironically enough, Um, Basically, me and my wife both have a love for retro stuff. We just both do. She's always collected vinyls since I've known her.
Love it.
And I've always been more of a retro gamer. I still play to this day very often. My Nintendo 64, I was actually just playing on the other day. I was playing some Mario Party, Mario Party 3.
I would say 3.
Um,
Yep, that's a good one.
yeah. One of my favorite games that's more niche on the Super Nintendo, if anyone knows it, is 2020 Super Baseball. That is one of my favorite games.
That's a deep cut. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a deep cut right there. And I did play that. This is my claim to I'm a real one. The first thing I did, December 31st, 2019, no, January 1st, 2020, is I played 2020 Super Baseball in the year 2020. I think I was the first person in the world probably to play it in 2020. So
You may have been the first person to play it for years.
yes, because the idea is it's set in 2020. It's what baseball would be like in 2020. Of course,
Yeah.
in 2020, we're gonna have this futuristic baseball where it's all crazy and robots and everything. It's great.
Little did they know.
It's great. Kind of like Back to the Future vibes. 2015 stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, you dust
just
off the cartridge and
Yeah.
then put it right in.
Oh yeah. So I actually had a problem with my cartridge the other day too. I've had to swab them a little bit to keep them clean. Anyways,
A heart attack every time it doesn't work.
I know. I'm still using a classic Super Nintendo and a classic Nintendo 64 that I've had. My family, it's an heirloom, a family heirloom that were bought in the boxes, brand new. So yeah. Anyways, so it was last January. We were just thinking of ways we could possibly we're retro. Like, is there any things that any problems or pains that people have in the retro world? And we're like, well, we love these TVs, What Daniela told me, my wife, she was like, well, what if we bought and sold, maybe rented out CRTs, like these old box TVs? What if we bought and sold them? I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. What if we but that's not really, super scalable. I don't know if we can really, that'd be hard. That'd be really slow going, kind of like a service. We could do that. Like basically remake Blockbuster. I was like, what if we just made the TVs? That's literally what the conversation went like. It was like an hour conversation. It was like, what if we just made them? And initially, we wanted to make CRTs with VCR combos. Obviously, it's been a year now, and we're still developing the product. And we've been developing this product, several hours a week, and if not, 20 to 30 hours a week at times.
Right.
It's been a very long process. And sadly, CRT, so far, we have not been able to get much traction on. But VCR, we're like, hey, we could legitimately make the VCR come back. Like, look at the record. Like when we first started, we're like, wait, look at the record player. What'd they do? Same exact thing. And then wait, people want to simplify. Like consumerism is one thing, but a lot of moms and people are having these problems with their kids where they want to simplify their media consumption.
Right.
They don't want to have 5 million movies at once. Actually, they don't. They want their kids to choose 20, like we did. We had 20 movies.
Have some choice.
List them all in order. We had 20 movies. You watch those movies. That's what you had. And you loved those movies. Really, we weren't even the wiser. It didn't really care. And so we're like, wait a minute, wait. We kind of have something here, because if we made the VCR come back again, we think people would buy these.
Yes.
We think we could legitimately make something happen, but also kind of this, honestly, in our heads, this was the physical media wave was kind of a thing, but I feel like in the last 2 or 3 months, it's taken off. We feel like we were somewhat before it to a degree in the idea of it really gaining all this traction. Now, obviously, this retro, I've always been into physical media. Like, it's not like I'm seeing more of a trend.
Totally.
We're seeing it more and more with the layman, with the Gentiles, we're seeing more normal people that aren't into the niche starting to get into it as well. So they're like, okay, so maybe this is big enough. We could actually make a product out of this. Maybe the niche is big enough. So we tested the waters, went to Facebook's. We saw a lot of the CRT people did not like us because they're like, "What would you make a CRT? With no CRT, what are you doing?" So we there's the fair share of people who don't necessarily like. You are more than welcome to stick to your old CRT. We are not inviting you to do otherwise. We're more doing it for people who don't have a VCR.
Yes.
It's hard to get VCRs that work. They are available.
Totally.
But we kind of want to get that natural experience that we experienced as kids, bring that back, and basically make it available. Really just make it available. And so that's kind of where the idea came from. And it's developed to really we're really focusing on the VCR. We could make an LCD TV in seconds. That would not be hard. We could easily do that. We've had so many engineers tell us, why don't you just make it without the VCR? I'm like, well,
That's the
100%.
point.
That's
You
the
don't
point.
understand.
The point is that we're bringing the VCR. Now, the nostalgia is important, but like we want to try and emulate a CRT the best we can. We want the VCR to be real. We want those sounds. We want you to be able to put it in. And we're like, okay, so any of you geeks out there will know that a VCR has a few components that are the reason it's so hard to source. You can't get them that are unique to the VCR because you can get all the plastic gears and parts like that. You can make that pretty easily. It's magnetic headers, the spinning drum inside that's loaded with the audio and visual headers. And really the precision engineering as well in order to line those up and to, get a mechanism to load the tape in and to sync them up is really what's missing today.
Yeah.
So we realized that the supply chain to make a VCR was not only broken, the supply chain of manufacturing, but the parts were not made, but the parts to make those parts were made, but the machine that makes those parts, the parts to make that machine don't exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically I remember feeling pretty down. Like, so we have to basically reinvent an archived supply chain that hasn't been active for 15 plus years. And even that 15 plus years, really 25 plus years, because there was like one company still making.
They were phasing it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it was getting phased out. And so we literally, all this work, we've been trying to not reverse engineer it. Like, can we not reverse engineer this? Can we just try and get someone who previously made them, Funai Electric, Sony, all these other places, JVC, do they have anyone who knows anything about the VCR who can help us? No one. No one. If you guys know anyone, please let us know. We still need the expertise, but we said, all right, we're gonna do it the hard way. We're gonna reverse engineer it. We're literally gonna rebuild it. We feel like we have enough juice, enough hype to literally just push and do it the hard way and literally rebuild it. So we are taking apart the VCR over the last few months, parsing it out, every part that's necessary, not necessarily necessary. Forming different parts together to make compliant mechanisms. So the loading deck, this will be we're going to be releasing insider emails, kind of geeking out a little more what we're doing, but I'm sure a lot of people want to hear. But basically, instead of using 7 or 8 different mechanisms that are running separately to do the same thing, like load the tape, we're using one compliant mechanism that works all in itself. Right now it's 3D printed. We'd love to get it molded at some point. Basically, we're efficient, making it more. We're using 2026 to make it more efficient.
You should, yeah.
To try and cut costs. So, anyways, that is I kind of dive into what we're doing right now, but that's I could go deeper on some of those details, but that's kind of where we're at right now. We are the shell and the LCD screen, or we're still deciding what screen we want to do, stuff like that. There's a lot of details that are still up in the air. Design, stuff like that is very secondary. We are completely 99.9% focused in on right now, the next few weeks, reverse engineering the VCR completely.
Well, I love this, and I love your enthusiasm and your just devotion to the mission behind this thing, and I too am behind this. Let's get these VHS plants back up and running. Like, it should be as you go to a Walmart or a Target, there should be another VHS section there. Bring back these physical media components here. You have your 4Ks, you got your DVDs, you got all that stuff.
Yeah.
Bring it back. If vinyl can make a comeback in these stores, and I see cassette tapes all the time. I bought new ones. They got those plants up and running again. It's time for VHS to make its comeback here.
Oh yeah, and on top of that too, like one thing that we would love for this is kind of a future thing that we'd love. Look at what record players have done. Look at what if they never brought back. You look at like let's say like SZA, a very current artist. She makes a new album. She puts it on vinyl. Artists are putting stuff on vinyl right now. Why aren't directors and stuff doing VHS tapes? Well, because there's not enough VCRs to go around.
That's right.
So plenty of people who tell us like, "Well, I already have a VCR. Why would I buy this?" I'm like, "Don't. It's not for you. You can.
You don't need to.
You don't need to. Don't worry about it. You already have your CRT and your VCR. Don't worry about it. It's okay. If you want the cool little box that we're going to design, it's going to have some cool little things that don't interrupt with nostalgia. That are a little cooler. Going to have like a VHS storing station. All the inputs you can want, stuff like that. Sure, but you don't need to buy it. It's not for you. It's for people who really want to start collecting these who haven't before. People who are new to it. People who do have the home videos that like, man, I threw my VCR to the Goodwill 20 years ago. So a lot of that is more making it just available. And with that, my point is, I wouldn't be too surprised, and we actually would love to spearhead it. to have people start making their films on VHS tapes again.
As they
That's one of the
should.
biggest things we want to push. If this movement gets big enough, like the record player is a perfect example. It literally happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you might see the next movie of let's say Dune comes with another movie. Oh yeah, they're also releasing on VHS tape, by the way.
Would be a wonderful VHS watch.
You just think about that. And you're like, oh, that's not that far fetched. That if the movement gets big enough, we're trying to spearhead this movement. Obviously this is a very grandeur idea, but you think about, man, I wouldn't be surprised if even small filmmakers start putting their stuff on VHS tapes, and it kind of gives this aura to it that people like.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know if you saw Alien Romulus that came out last summer, 2
Mhm.
summers ago at this point. They actually released that on VHS.
Really? I didn't even know that. Really?
Just on a whim, a very limited run VHS.
Okay.
And I thought,
There we
hey,
go.
we're getting the band back together. We're doing this, guys. And
Yeah.
then no one picked it up since then. So like, there's a little bit
Yeah.
of an inkling there. And
Okay, that actually gets me
glimmer
really
of hope.
excited. I did not know that Romulus did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so exciting. I'm hopeful for this. I've seen some like custom maybe
Yeah.
one might say illegal VHSs created out there
Yeah.
of newerish films. But if there is a demand, right? These like I always say, these nonprofit companies that are the movie industry, right?
Mhm.
will certainly try to make a dollar on anything if there is demand. And
Oh, sure.
what
Yeah.
there needs to be in order for a demand to be there is the availability, right? And I remember in like the 2010s, early 2010s, right? 2008, 2009, 2010, vinyl players were not a thing. And
No.
then suddenly it starts having this major comeback here. And then you start getting the various different niche industries of like, okay, it's like the box, luggage case record player and whatnot, and like
Yeah.
very, very low quality things. And then of course, all the way up to the highest level
Yeah.
that we have nowadays here. And there's, like that person you were saying like, oh, I already have a CRT and I have a VHS player. And it's like,
Yeah.
great. You have one that works. There
Yeah, you
there
have
aren't
one that
many
works.
that exist out there that still work. Like I see
Yeah.
on my TikTok all the time of people going to thrift places and picking up these retro devices and then going home and being like, will it work? Maybe. Let me try it out.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't.
I've been a victim of that. I've had that happen where we've come home with CRTs and it's like, oh, this kind of doesn't work very well. This has a massive line in the screen. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's also more for the like you said, like the functionability of them. A lot of them, they're getting older every year. All of them collectively. Now they are built like tanks, so granted, a lot of them do last a while. But yeah, I mean, people who are negative about it, it's because they have a CRT that works. People who don't have a CRT
That's
that works
right.
anymore are all about Retrobox. That's what we're doing.
That's
So,
exactly right. And like you go online or you go to a place and frankly they're not cheap anymore, right?
no,
Because there is such a
I will
small
say,
supply.
anyone, there's been a few people that have told us, they're like, I can get my CRT at the local Goodwill for $10. I'm like,
Maybe.
please show me, please. I would say maybe garage sales. Like those are the only chance you have is a garage sale.
That's
Maybe
the best you got. Yep.
I mean, I haven't had any luck doing that, so I would love to see.
And then you got to
where
hope that it
can
works when it gets home, right?
Right.
Like,
And,
the
I'm
electronics
not
don't
saying
work.
those people are lying, not at all, but I doubt it. I very much doubt that it is true. It's even hard to get a VCR unit alone. There's some on eBay
Yes.
you can get sometimes for around 50, and that's a VCR unit alone. So
Yeah, not even.
Yeah. So especially CRTs, but I mean, even just the VCR units alone, I'm like, yeah, you say that, but when the rubber meets the road, it really doesn't exist anymore. It's really hard to get them, actually. Like, we found a screaming deal for a combo TV, which is really what's hard. The combo TVs are really what's hard to get, for about like 150. Oh my gosh, we got one that works for $150. Like, okay, you're telling me that they're $10? No, they're not. They're really not.
It's
So,
not. People have recognized that there's a market here for this, and
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
when that happens, the business will.
Yeah, well, that's what inspired it initially. We said, well, I want to rent these for an event or for myself, but I don't want to pay. These are too expensive for me right now.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
granted,
And also,
we're priced. Our price to start might be a little more expensive, but that's because you're getting a brand new VCR, and we're paying people a lot of money to reverse engineer the VCR. So, I would love it for it to be cheaper, but for right now, it's not. When we first release, it'll be a little more expensive than we'd hope, but That's
Hey,
just part of
for
it.
the price for knowing that it will work
Yes.
is a priceless price to me. If you
Yeah.
if I'm speaking candidly here,
Yeah.
because I've seen many people not work and pay top dollar, and then it's great you bought it on eBay. There's no resell on this one. You bought it
No.
as is, and
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Yeah. I've had a few times where I picked up a CRT and there's some components that I can tell that are loose. That are not the ones that are supposed to be loose. And I'm like,
Yeah, and you're like,
I don't know
people
about this
that
one, mate.
it's expensive to fix these things, right? Like
Yeah.
the parts don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And good luck finding a person that like Radio Shack isn't a thing, or you can just go and like have the guy fix it in the back. Like the
Yeah.
Geek Squad at Best Buy doesn't know what to do with these things.
No. Yeah.
And it's funny because I just, as we're talking here, I just got reminded, like, I know Alamo Draft Houses, the films movie theaters have like VHS rentable sections there that you can
Wow.
still
That's
get
cool.
to. So this is a great product for people who live close by to one of those, or maybe it's their preferred movie theater and they can
Yeah.
always
I
rent
will
out something.
add the amount of you probably know this more than anyone. The amount of VHS stores popping up throughout the country is growing. It is not shrinking. It is growing.
I love it. I love it.
And Blockbuster on their Instagram, about right when we thought about our idea, their I can't remember what they said. Their bio, Blockbuster still has one location in, I believe it's Oregon
Yep.
or Washington. It's in the Northwest somewhere.
Pacific Northwest.
And they have definitely, if you want to go scroll on some of their posts, they leave it up to interpretation of whether or not they're going to open up more locations.
Ooh.
They are open to. I'm sure the corporation's down to like 5 people. So I mean, I bet they're
that
very
makes a
willing to open
comeback
more
too.
locations.
Man, we're really living in the good times again.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
sign of the better days to come here.
Yeah.
So we, as we're talking here, we're in 2026. There have been many technological advances since the last VHS. I think 2006-ish was the last VHS. I think Cars was the last VHS mass produced. If my memory serves correct there. I think that's about it. So there's obviously been a lot of technological advances. We now have like 4K TVs and whatnot, and all, Blu-rays and all that stuff. So for I'm curious, what sets Retrobox apart from the other CRTs? You kind of dived into this a little bit here, but let's dive into it deeper. Like compared to the CRT that you find at Goodwill or a garage sale or eBay, what sets this product apart from that, given the modern technology and tools that we have available?
Yeah, well, I think part of it is we are doing some modern touches to it. Obviously, we're bringing back the nostalgia, but we're also bringing back pretty much anything you'd want it on. The only thing we are not doing that we could do in 2026, we are not making it a smart TV. We thought about it, we played with it, we asked everyone, and they said no. And we said, well, yeah,
I would say no too. Yep.
Yeah, why would we? Wait. And so the idea of this is we're not replacing your TV. This is not meant to replace your flat screen. This not at all. This isn't a TV. This isn't a TV replacement. This is meant to be your retro TV.
It's an additive.
It's meant to be very cool looking, very nostalgic. It's your vessel to collect. You can watch your films on it, your VHS films. But really, what we're doing is we're making it more applicable for this day and age. Because I'll be honest, like I would love to watch some old movies on there, but when there's movies in not a 4:3 ratio, I don't really want to watch Interstellar on my small 9-inch TV. I'm going to want to watch it on a big screen.
The biggest screen possible.
Right. And then I feel like most people would agree with that. I'm sure some CRT geeks, you guys might get mad at me that maybe you do want to watch it on a CRT. You know what? You can do that.
Hey, all the power to them.
Yeah, all the power to it. You're welcome to do that. But yes, my Xbox, I don't want to play that on a CRT. So I'm not going to replace my TV. But what we are doing is we're doing the same thing that those things do. You provide that VCR, that experience, but also, we're going to be integrating with Bluetooth. You can connect your headphones, connect speakers. Nice. We're going to be integrating an HDMI port. So if you just want the VCR before we actually release the VCR, you can hook it up and have your VCR play to your big TV.
Awesome.
We're making sure you can play every game you want on it for the aura of playing your Nintendo 64 on a VHS box combo TV. It's going to have AV and component S video. There's a few more things that I can't discuss based on, with what we're doing with the screen specifically. We're doing some things to the screen that are very special that we're still very much under talks on what that's going to look like. Because that's actually one of our most commented things, one of our asked things. Is it going to be OLED, LCD? There's a lot of options. The one thing, sadly, that we know, it's not going to be CRT. However, there's been some people that have suggested some things that have been very interesting that we will consider. So the final product will have something interesting. We're going to go kind of all out on making sure it feels like a CRT, and we're going to do some methods that are hopefully, if they work out, if the research works out, that they can emulate it fairly well.
Are you gonna try to figure out a way to emulate the static shock on it so that I
Yeah,
can
what's funny is actually I was saying that, like, okay, we should have a little taser in there, a little shocks. You touch it. We should also have, we should have just like a little dog whistle that just plays in the background so you can hear the static, so stuff like that. I mean, no, I don't think so, but yes, there's things that we're going above and beyond to make sure it feels like a CRT, because mainly it's actually environmental limitations.
Mhm.
Mass producing a CRT with lead really isn't doable.
Yeah, not in this context of where we're at now.
Not in a mass. If we want to make 100, yeah, of course we can make 100 of them, but we're not making 100. We're planning on going much bigger than that, and so we're mass producing these. So, we will definitely get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We are, we definitely, if things go well with the VCR, we would definitely be looking into, okay, how better can we emulate a CRT, or can we make a CRT just with
Mhm.
Can we do what we just did with the VCR and basically reinvent it and really make a CRT again? We'll see about that. But that's definitely the releases that we're talking about right now are just the VCR. So
Got it. Yeah. So we're one step at a time here.
Oh.
Re-engineering. Oh, go ahead.
I did forget to add one of the biggest things we're doing. This is so basic to what we've been doing that I forget about it sometimes. One thing that actually is pretty ironic that we realized pretty fast. Like, have you ever seen other than like the Minnie Mouse or Shrek special edition, have you ever seen like a red box combo TV? No. Have you
No.
ever seen a green one? No. They were pretty much just silver and black.
Mhm.
I mean, for the most part, I'm sure I would be pretty surprised if there's never been a red one, but I mean, I have never seen a red
Aside from
one.
that Minnie Mouse one, that was the
Take away the Minnie
edition.
Mouse and the Shrek special editions. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. Take away a special edition Disney one or something, but really a lot of personality. And you can still buy the black or silver. We're still going to have a classic in a black. You can stick to that if that's what your kind of childhood was. It's what you want. But I think part of what we're doing that's really cool is some of the spunk that was, I think, could have been there.
Yeah.
We're making cherry red, deep blue, pine green.
Ooh.
And it's actually endless. One of our biggest ones, obviously, that everyone's clamored
I
for.
was gonna say, what, the translucent?
The translucent, man. The translucent is
Hey, it's those N64 memories right there.
Oh yeah, the N64. I still
or
have
the Game Boy too, right? It's all there.
Yeah, I have a black N64, but I do have a few translucent controllers. I have a purple translucent controller that I love. But anyways, so that is definitely, we're flirting with a lot of those. Now, the translucent, we have to get into more details about. Those are a little bit different because you might have to actually change the material of your, the type of plastic you use. But anyways, we are very much aware of that. That is a massive want for the public, as well as me. I really want one of those.
It's not a want; it's a need.
Yeah, it's a
People need that.
man. Yeah, you'll see through it. You would see our new VCR that looks a little bit different. It's gonna be pretty cool, man. I'm pretty excited. We'd try and figure out a way that doesn't look dumb with no CRT inside, with being translucent. But we'd make it look cool. Don't worry. But yeah, colors and just styles are a big thing that we're wanting to do. Making vinyls for it. Making a Star Wars vinyl for your box combo TV. Having the classic Luke on the VHS sleeve of A New Hope on the side of your TV. I mean, stuff like that. I mean, that's one of the biggest things we're attacking is actually, well, this thing has never been done. We would love to do really add some personality to the VHS combo TV. So that is, colors especially are what a big thing that we're adding as well. So.
Well, absolutely, and that sounds. I love everything that you're saying here. Color, absolutely. That's another form of expression, right? That was how people went. I remember back in the early 2000s and the 90s, right? People were paying arm and a leg for those types of different types of variant things along the way. The color was very much a essential aspect to that experience, and I love that you're incorporating both modern sensibilities with also the nostalgic part of it too, because why not, right? Have a Bluetooth
for those
connection,
who want an uninterrupted experience. It will. The idea is that it still feels like back in the day, but for those who want a little more of compatibility, you will still get that. But the idea is we're delivering the retro feel. That's the idea.
Absolutely,
that's the whole point.
And there's a whole other gaming component too, right? Which
Yeah.
is like it'll be able to connect to those old consoles if you
Oh
still
yeah,
have
well,
one,
that
or
was my thing. I was like, well, it has to connect to my 64, right? That's the whole point. Like, what am I
absolutely.
doing?
And
That's what I'm
as a
gonna use it
person
for
that,
most.
I have my N64 connected to my 4K TV over here. It doesn't look great.
Oh,
It's not meant
yeah,
to. It was never meant to be on a 70-inch
no.
TV. That's also widescreen too, right? It's meant to
Mhm.
be on the 4:3 box style. And I think with this product too, it'll make a lot of those more, older game experiences a lot more enjoyable for us. Rather than being like, "Ooh, this does look dated,"
Oh yeah,
kind
no,
of a thing.
that's one of the biggest ones for me is gaming. I grew up playing a lot of Banjo Kazooie. That's what I did a lot of when I was a kid. Was Banjo
Hmm.
Kazooie. Of course, some of the Super Nintendo games that I played that I already named, but I mean, a lot of those on a normal TV, the pixels are too big. It's like it like hurts your eyes to look at. It does work. I still play them.
Yeah,
You know,
it works, but
it
should it?
works. But when I plug them into a CRT, I'm like, oh yeah, it's like calming because there's the meshing of the colors is much better. The
Yeah,
saturation is built. The
the
colors are
graphics
a
look
lot
better.
better, and it's just better.
Yeah, the frame rates and all that were meant to
The frame
be.
rate, yeah,
It's the
it's just
same thing
better.
as like, people will talk like, "Oh, this film looks bad nowadays," right?
Yeah,
But it was made in the 80s, right, or in the 90s, right? And the CG was what it was, and it was the best of the time.
yeah,
And then 30 years went by, you're now watching it on a 4K, and they didn't update they didn't
right,
go back in time and retroactively make the CG look better. So it's going to look different or dated or something like that, right?
yeah,
So to be able to
yeah,
go back and watch some of these films the way that they were kind of almost intended to, in a way, without us being able to zoom in and pause every bit
sure,
possible or frame rate on this thing,
yeah.
it'll make for a lot of those experiences, I think, so much better.
Yeah, and we're well aware that we hope it does. So our finished product is almost complete. We would love if it does feel like that. We hope it does. We're trying our best, but we don't know if we can actually like with gaming. We don't know if we can actually do it as in
Hmm.
terms of the a lot of the things the VCR is the focus. We're trying to make that work. We're doing it, but in terms of some of the user experience with the games, let it be known. I'm gonna be very transparent with people. I'm not gonna try and sell you on it. It may be different. I really hope it isn't, but it may be different.
Okay.
We're not gonna try and be something we're not. It's not a CRT, and so maybe one of the cons of the TV is the fact that like, well, it actually has some of the same problems. Now, I'm not saying it does. It probably. I mean, we're working pretty hard. I really hope it doesn't. I hope it gets rid of a lot of those. I mean, easily we should be able to match the frame rates, but it's impossible when you're going from analog to digital and we're
Yeah.
trying to display it as analog. That's what's happening. So a CRT, there's literally, it's just analog to analog.
It's just
It's
straightforward.
great.
Yeah.
But we have to do it from analog to digital to analog or look analog. So, just being very transparent here. That's what
Oh,
we're built on. We're not trying to, we're trying to be very transparent in the fact that we're doing something pretty crazy. So there's gonna be bumps in the road. Um, but yeah, and really the focus is the VCR. The VCR will be a VCR, and we're very excited about that. But the gaming
yeah.
is definitely a big focus. We're going to be spending a lot of money on making sure the gaming is better than what it would be on a digital screen. So,
Amazing. And this is a great engineering challenge too, I imagine.
oh
Right?
yeah,
Like
oh yeah,
you're
it's
at the
insane.
cutting edge of this incredible forefront of creating a new reinventing what is old is
Yeah,
new again.
yeah.
And
It's pretty funny to walk up to a bunch of people very serious and be like, yeah, so we want to reverse engineer the VCR. What do you guys think about that?
yeah,
Um, it's
which
not
is
a
awesome.
typical request. We're working with an engineering firm at this point who actually manufactures and helps with a lot of drones, a lot of they do help with a
Gnarly.
lot of electrical engineering like this, but they do a lot of big, high importance items, that are more like a lot of hardware. So they do definitely specialize in this, but they've never done anything like this. No one has. There's
Yeah.
no one, sadly, in this day. I mean, other than some of your Facebook guys that we've talked to. I mean, there's really no one who has expertise on the VCR, and so we're having to officially train ourselves on how it works, what's
Hmm.
necessary, what's not
Hmm.
necessary. Could we replace the headers with different types of headers that are manufactured mass right now? Stuff like that. Um, so there's a lot of those kinds of conversations, but it's definitely funny because people do take us seriously, especially now that we have a wave going. But it is funny because it always gets a chuckle, and I love it. It's you can't tell someone with a straight face that you're reverse engineering the VCR. It's just so funny. You can't.
They're
I
like,
walk
what?
up to people. I have a lot of people that I'm connected with, and I've been building my portfolio, talking to people. Like, so what's your product? Well, I'm reverse engineering the VCR. I'm like, you what? Great. It's great.
But those people have that same reaction for vinyl. They're like, "You're going
Yeah,
back to
of
that?
course.
Like, we have CDs,
Yeah, we have CDs. What do you mean we have iPods? Why would you ever do that? It's like,
you don't
people want
understand.
it, don't they?
It's coming back, and it's not going anywhere, right? There's
Yeah.
record store day, and I can see in the future VHS day, right? You go to your
Yeah.
local
Oh,
mom
yeah.
and pop store, and there's like a new VHS out there that everyone's trying to go after.
Yeah, we love it. We love it that there's the movement is. We've been so pleasantly surprised that the movement has moved with us. At least in our eyes, it felt like it was a movement last year when we started it. It was starting, and we felt like, okay, this could be a wave, and we feel like it's a massive wave now, even in just a few months' time.
Absolutely, you could almost say tsunami at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. Yeah.
So I'm curious. You've given us a lot of insights into the behind the scenes process for this, and you've talked about like reverse engineering the VHS and the VCR component, and then talking through potentially how the CRT components can also come into this in some way, shape, or form. At this point, when are you thinking that something might be able to hit the market here for folks? And let's start with that.
Now, this is the question that's everyone's hounding us
like the
on.
$1 million question. Everyone wants to know.
$1 million question, man. I will give you more insight than I've given most people, just because I'm here talking about it. I will say we're still dealing with prototypes, revisions, all kinds of stuff. So we are our social media blow up was actually before we anticipated it. We didn't expect a couple videos to give us 14K followers. We weren't like ready for that actually. So a lot of what you're seeing sold out on the website. It's like, well, it's actually more just not available. We have had people go out. We're starting to test some things about it. We have concept designs. We have some prototypes, but I mean, we're still developing. And so this is not at all to take the wind out of anyone's sails, but just so you know, you haven't missed out on much yet. If you are currently worried about it, you are in the front of the movement. You are still riding the wave with us.
Got it.
And so, like we said, we're going to be sending out updates, of course, on Instagram, our email lists, sending out very detailed updates of what's going on. And so the reason we started the social media early is because we wanted to, first of all, validate ourselves. Like, okay, is this product for real?
It's very
Will
important.
people actually pay for this? Like, are we just throwing money at something that won't work? And so obviously this weekend, specifically, January 14th, January 20th right now, 1 week ago, we only had 100 followers. Okay, so we know we got something as far as market fit. Like, we know people want this. We know people are willing to spend money on this. Okay. Okay, so now we can move forward with a lot more confidence, with a lot more money. And so now kind of, this is some details that I wouldn't normally tell many people, but, basically we kind of were like, all right, well, we're going to get our money up now. Like, let's go. So now we're looking more at investors, more Kickstart's coming very soon. And once Kickstart happens,
you're doing a Kickstarter. Love it.
We won't do Kickstarter until we have TVs, so that we can make sure that we know exactly what we're looking at. And we're really, really excited. It's going to speed up a lot more than it has. It's been a year, and we've gotten to this point. We haven't made more progress in 1 week than we have this week. And now that we're starting to go full bore, we both work full time and are in school. So
wow,
keep that in mind, everybody. Like,
oh my goodness,
I also
side hustle.
Oh yeah. This is not my full time job. I am not an engineer full time, and so, it's part of it is the fact that we are trying our best, and all of our free time goes to this, especially now. And so, yeah, the $1 million question is soon, definitely soon. I would expect in the next 2, 3, 4 months, there will be opportunities to buy a Retrobox. Now, I will put an asterisk on this. This might be you. If you're someone who really wants a TV, you might be buying a beta and be a beta tester for us.
Yeah.
Because with this kind of operation, capital, we need so much scale to make it cheaper. With all these parts. A lot of them need to be injection molded, stuff like that. We can't just make 100,000 of these. We need to really make sure we've got it down before we start making a lot more of these.
Got it.
And so most likely for anyone listening, it will be, there will be opportunities to be beta testers very soon, within the next month or two, the next few weeks, as we roll out our first models. We don't know how we're going to give those away because there's too many people who want to be beta testers.
Everyone's on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's on the list. It's too many. So the scarcity is definitely something to be aware of. That is not a selling point. Many people say they're running out of inventory when they are not.
Mm-hmm.
We will have extremely limited inventory because we have no money. So
Yeah.
we will be making them one at a time.
Yep. An order comes in, then we make it, kind of.
Yeah. Well, and it even then it won't even be orders because there's so many people that want them. It'll be kind of just like, all right, well, who's up next? This person wants to be a beta tester. They've been in the emails. They've done this. So I would say if you want to be a beta tester for Retrobox, be involved. We're going to be hand selecting people. That's what it's come down to.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be people who are on our email list, who are replying to us, who are talking to us, DMing us. And so, we need people who will test it very well, be honest with us, but also, they'll accept that there's going to be, oh, hey, by the way, the AV component is a little funky when you do this. Like stuff, we need that. We need that. We need testing. We need
good honest
just so
feedback.
many things. Yeah. Yeah. So we need you guys. But yeah, we will probably be doing beta testing pretty soon. With that Kickstart, we'll be rolling out. We would love for that to be in the next month or two.
Awesome.
So there's a lot coming. So yeah, we would hope that by like probably summer, fall, Christmas time is when we're ramping up scale. We'd hope by like Christmas time, like next Christmas is what we're targeting.
You want everyone opening up a Retrobox on Christmas Day.
Our target launch, like big launch, not pre-orders, not betas, not, we're making 100 TVs, in the next few months. No. When we're going to launch and, really go all in. But for people who are already on now, I mean, you're going to get a great product if you were to order it, in the next few weeks. But yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm like first in line already for all this stuff here. Yeah. And I'm so you've already mentioned for people to stay tuned for updates, right? You have a website where they can sign up for updates, and you'll be sending out information via that and geeking out about like the nitty gritty of how this is coming together here. There's an Instagram and TikTok, correct? Mm-hmm. So are those the places you would say that people should go to be updated on when the Kickstarter comes out, as well as just for general updates in general?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would say the email list is going to be much more in depth. So if you want to go, as for right now, just go to our Shopify and throw your email down right there. You'll be on the email list. And that's the big one. That's where we get the details I just shared now. Like, hey, this is actually what we're doing to design this. This is what on Instagram, we're just kind of go over the top. Like, hey, we made progress on this. We're looking at this now. On the, I'll really geek out on the emails. It'll be from me personally. And it won't even be like a big fancy newsletter. It'll kind of just be like I'll just send an email and say, hey, here's what we did. Kind of an insider scoop.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's the good stuff there. Right. And folks listening, all the links here that we're talking about will be in the episode description. So you don't need to go too far to go check out and sign up for all this stuff. And of course, follow them on all the important social media platforms too, because the videos are cool. Get some nice behind the scenes stuff and just see those classic VHS tapes up on display and seeing them getting some love again. It's awesome. And that's where I want to end with my last question here for you, Chase. Once someone opens their new Retrobox, whether it's a couple months from now, or let's say again, Christmas Day, someone opens up a nice new Retrobox TV and they get to enjoy that wonderful experience. What would you suggest as being the first VHS that they should add to their collection? If they don't have one, right, they got to run to their local Goodwill or whatever thrift store that they got, and they see a VHS section. What's the one that they should make a beeline for it? You're like, okay, this is the one that you must have.
That's a good question. No, actually, your question got me slightly I wouldn't say I'm not crying, but emotional because I'm starting to see it. Over the last couple of weeks, I'm starting to actually see it pan out. And I would say, I don't know. I love Jaws on the for some reason. Something with Jaws on the VHS. It's just so much scarier. I don't know why. I love it. Definitely Star Wars is one of my favorites to watch. I mean, of course, original trilogy. 1, 2, and 3, I don't think really belong on the VHS. Not really. But yeah, I would say original trilogy of Star Wars is one of my go-tos. Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I do love A New Hope as well. Like, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Return of the Jedi, I think it's because I watched that one specifically on VHS a lot. Mm-hmm. I would say go for that Star Wars trilogy, man.
You're talking to the right audience for that one.
Yeah, I would say go for the Star Wars trilogy, or there's some of those classics too that just have so much, like specifically on the VHS, they have so much ore that they carry. Like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's just like, it's just maybe Back to the Future. Maybe it's Back to the Future.
Can't go wrong with that one.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I love Back to the Future, man. That's probably my favorite movie from the '80s, other than just like general Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, something like that. But yeah, that's probably it.
That's a good one. That's a great one. You can't go wrong. Frankly, all the ones that you just said there, like those are like the quintessential parts of like any VHS collection.
Yeah,
And
of course. I made very basic ones, but those are what I would.
No,
Back to
those are the
Future, I think, is
absolute
really what I
good
go
ones
with.
to add too. And I feel like I just have to, just because this guy is all over TikTok and whatnot. I don't. Have you seen the guy that has like the world's record supply of like Titanic on VHS? That he opened up a whole museum of Titanic on VHS.
I think I have, and it's just Titanic.
It's just Titanic.
Yeah,
He's got a full, like, he opened up a whole museum of just come see his collection of Titanic on VHS.
We actually just got Titanic on VHS because we've been collecting as well because we're hyped about it. We've been collecting as well, and we just got Titanic. We got a double sleeve,
and it's the double one, yeah.
It's the double.
It's incredible, and again, that's another one where I know, like I was saying, Lord of the Rings. Like, okay, this is where you flip to the disc 2 and whatnot. People know, okay, this is where you switch to VHS 2 on Titanic. So for a lot of people, that's one of theirs that like I have to own this one because it's an epic sweeping film and whatnot, and all that. But I think those '80s classics, those Spielberg, those Amblin,
any Spielberg movies. Why would I say any Spielberg movie is going to be?
Give me Hook on VHS. Come on, guys, that's awesome. Hook, Jurassic Park. How could I forget? All these incredible films that like are the foundation, the bedrock of our modern society is Spielberg and Lucas. And the answer is really Indiana Jones. Is really when you combine the two of them and you get Indiana Jones, you get Raiders of the Lost Ark or Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and that's all you need right there is the start.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Chase, this has been such a blast chatting with you here and learning all about Retrobox. Anything else that you want to tease before we head out of here today?
No, I think just if you guys don't follow us already, follow us, and we'll keep you guys updated on our story because it really is more of a story for us. We're literally husband and wife who have the same dream, and we're both 100% owners of the company, and it's both of us. It is very much both of us. I'm more of I kind of go and talk about more about it, but you've seen she's the one who does a lot of the videos, her voice, and I mean, I think just a lot of people think that what we're doing is, first of all, not possible, but a lot of people think that it's a scam. First of all, because we haven't really shown much of what we're actually doing. Part of it's on us because we haven't. What's funny is the videos that went viral weren't even really like that descriptive of what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
So we get why there's skeptics out there, but I think just even if you have your CRT already, what we're doing is more for the movement. I mean, we're making a product. We're trying to make ourselves. We're trying to better our lives as well. But I think a purpose of what we feel is that we're simplifying media, and we're also really trying to legitimately just bring back the VHS tapes. We love VHS. We're just trying to bring it back straight up, and we think that we can. We think that and none of us alone, but we think that we can literally, kind of manifest this into existence. So more so than it already is.
I love it. Well, together as a community, right? Star Wars fandom and all of that. Everybody that's listening to this, let's manifest this dream coming to life here. And I'm so excited to see where the future goes for Retrobox here. And I'll be following every step of the way. And folks, you can follow along every step of the way too, because these important links here for being able to get involved and to follow them on Instagram and TikTok, and of course sign up for the email newsletters, right? Those are all in the episode description here, so just go check those out, and of course give them the support where you can then. And that's it for this episode, folks. Thank you so much for listening to Force Ghost Conversations this week. We'll be back with a brand new episode next week, and until then, may the Force be with you. Take care.